This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system.
By climate change.
Environmental issues in the Philippines.
The future of the Earth's climate. About climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change is ice melt across the globe.
Climate change.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Group 2. And for today, we are going to talk about climate and environment. I'm Belleza.
I'm Shennel Colibao.
Hi, I'm Christine Diagdal.
I'm Rowena Catubay.
Creating a future where both humans and nature can survive is the biggest challenge for humankind. Climate change refers to challenge in the environmental conditions of the Earth. This happened due to many internal and external factors. The climate change has become a global concern over the last few decades. The nature determines our survival, yet humans continue to strive and pushes nature to its limit. We shape the world that results to climate change.
What is climate change? It defined the long-term changes in the Earth's overall temperature and massive ramification. Human activities from pollution to overpopulation are driving up the Earth's temperature and fundamentally changing the world around us. According to Merriam-Webster, it defines that climate change is the changes in the Earth's weather patterns. It is considered to be one of the most alarming problems in the modern world. If we don't do something, well, it can get even worse. One of the deadliest effects of global warming is the rise of its temperature, which can be linked to the various dangerous things like melting of ice caps in the North Pole and South Pole, droughts due to severe heat increase in the numbers of typhoons, the rising of sea levels due to the melting of ice caps.
Again, if we don't do something about it, well, what will happen to our future? Surely we don't want them to experience hunger. We want them to live longer and not to suffer. But there's a question. How do we exactly do this? Well, there are actually many ways. First, energy revolution. Phasing out fossil fuels, replace them with renewables. This will help to slow the warming of the planet. To the acidification of ocean that can create cleaner air for us. Second, food production revolution. Upgrading efficient food production and reducing production of meat will result to more space for grassland. Unless deforestation means we can feed more people healthier and more affordable food. Third, ocean management. We need vast network of no-fish zone, having treaty on the usage of internal waters. This will help us in the restoration of the ocean, which resulted in harvesting more resources. Fourth, switch to sustainable transport, petrol and diesel vehicles. Planes and ships use fossil fuels. Reducing car use, switching to electric vehicle and minimizing plane travel will not only help stop climate change, it will reduce air pollution too. Fifth, we should reduce how much people consume. Our transport, fashion, food, and other lifestyle choices all have different impacts on the climate. This is often by design, fashion, and technology companies. For example, will release far more products than are realistically needed, but while reducing consumption of these products might be hard. It's most certainly worth it. Reducing overall consumption in more wealthy countries can help put less strain on the planet. 6. Reduce plastic. Plastic is made from oil, and the process of extracting, refining, and turning oil into plastic or even polyester for clothing is surprisingly carbon intense. It doesn't break down quickly in nature, so a lot of plastic to burn, which contributes to emissions. Demand for plastic is rising so quickly that creating and disposing of plastics will account for 17% of the global carbon budget by the year 2050. This is the emission count we need to stay within, according to the Paris Agreement.
A less wild world is less able to provide for our needs, less able to maintain weather and seasons, less able to absorb our impact. Biodiversity equals stability and is the ability of what we need the most, creating future. We are both human and nature can survive together is achievable if we humans open our eyes to see the problems, accept the challenge, and do something. It is easy to feel overwhelmed and to feel that climate change is too big to overcome. But we already have the answers. Now it's a question of making them happen. To work, all of these solutions need strong international cooperation between governments and businesses, including the most polluting sectors. Individuals can also play a part by making better choices about where they get their energy, how they travel, and what food they eat. But the best way for anyone to help stop climate change is to take collective action. This means pressuring governments and corporations to change their policies and business practices. Governments want to be re-elected, and businesses can survive without a customers. Demanding action from them is a powerful way to make change happen.
That leads me to the next topic, which is the environment. Environment means anything that surrounds us. It can be living or non-living things. It includes physical, chemical, and other natural forces. Living things live in their environment. They constantly interact with it and adapt themselves to conditions in their environment. In the environment, there are different interactions between animals, plants, soil, water, and other living and non-living things. Since everything is part of the environment of something else, the word environment is used to talk about many things. People in different fields of knowledge use the word environment differently. Electromagnetic environment is radio waves and other electromagnetic radios and magnetic fields. The environment of galaxy refers to condition of interstellar medium. In psychology and medicine, a person's environment is the people, physical things and places that the person lives in. The environment affects the growth and development of the person. It affects the person's behavior, body, mind, and heart. The living conditions of living organisms in an environment are affected by the weather or climate change in the environment. Environment includes the living and non-living things that an organism interacts with or has an effect on it. Living elements that an organism interacts with are known as biotic elements. Animals, plants. Abiotic elements are non-living things which include air, water, and sunlight. Studying the environment means studying the relationship among these various things. An example of interaction between non-living things and living things is plants, getting their minerals from the soil and making food using sunlight. Predation, an organism eating another, is an example of interaction between living things. Some people call themselves environmentalists. They think we must protect the natural environment to keep it safe. Things in the natural environment that we value are called natural resources. For example, fish, insects, and forests. These are renewable resources because they come back naturally when we use them. Non-renewable resources are important things in the environment that are limited. For example, ores and fossil fuels. After a few thousand years, some things in natural environment can kill people.
For years now, humans have mistreated and contaminated the very environment that sustained them. But the broad concern for the environment can be so overwhelming that people don't know what to do or where to start making a difference. Surrounding our environment go on, but there's are three major ones that affect the majority of them overall: global warming, climate change, water pollution, and ocean acidification, and the loss of biodiversity. These three issues need immediate attention and proactive action in our part to ensure conservation of the only habitable planet which we call our home. And focusing the attention on these three topics will have a triple effect on the number of smaller environmental issues like efficient recycling system and food waste. Let's look at three major environmental issues and some solutions which can help combat them: global warming and climate change. Here's our photos. Pollution of air, land, and water to excessive deforestation, industrialization, and overfilling lands which emit carbon dioxide and adds to greenhouse gases emission are all topmost causes of this environmental issue. Here are the some effective solutions to this problem. Invest in and encourage production of sustainable technology. Commercial and residential buildings should aim to achieve zero emission or zero waste. Improve waste compaction in landfills with smart technology like stationary compactors which have free up space for another constructive uses. It comes variety, capacity, and configuration for handling different volume of dust. Increase forest cover, restore seagrasses, and boost use of agricultural cover crops to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. This is the carbonate ions in the seawater, which make it difficult for clams, deep sea coral, oyster to build and maintain their shells and other calcium carbonate structure. These changes in the water chemistry can affect the behavior of other organisms also. This puts the entire ocean food web at risk. These are the least to prevent water pollution and ocean acidification. For water pollution and ocean acidification, this more effective measure to contain spill, storm, and water runoff, and plant trees near water bodies to reduce soil erosion. Expand the network which monitor and measuring of the acidity level to provide researcher and selfish farmer with long-term and real-time HP data. Incorporate ocean acidification threats into the coastal zone management plans of states. With diversity helps maintain the balance of ecosystem and provide biological resources which are crucial for our existence. Loss of biodiversity can be encountered in a number of ways. Government should create and implement strictly policies and laws related for conservation of biodiversity. First, stop habitable destruction and encourage its restoration. Second is practice sustainable living. Third is reduce invasive species. Fourth is research innovative ways to preserve biodiversity and educate the populace about it. Awareness and adoption are two key steps towards conserving this burden called environment. Each one of us can and should do their bit to curb the effect this environmental issue and ensure that our future generation have healthy planet to live.
I'm Shennel, Colibao.
May Diagdal.
I'm Rowena, Catubay.
Again, I am Belleza, and thank you for your attention and interest.